Joining us now is the chair of the Rural Council with the Democratic National Committee, Kylie Oversen. Kylie, thank you so much for your time this morning. You know, the USDA has said it will continue to have access to more timely and accurate data. It claimed this annual report Anna was talking about was, quote, rife with inaccuracies, zero accountability, and a massive drive for bigger and larger government programs. So do you have any insights into how this report was produced, what may have led to some of those critiques, and what are your thoughts on the claims?
Sure, absolutely. And thanks for having me on to talk about this. I think it's really important that we're looking at why this decision was made when it was made. I think the claims of inaccuracy are false. What we've seen is that this survey has been used for nearly 30 years to track hunger across the country. It is the most accurate and comprehensive data that we have on hunger that our families are facing across the country. And then there's conversations about the cost effectiveness and the relevancy of this data. This is a very efficiently done survey. It's tacked onto another survey that is already handled by the Census Bureau, so it is very cost effective. We're reaching families in all corners of the country. And we're seeing how important it is that now, as was just discussed, SNAP benefits are being cut. To stop taking this data now is an effort to hide the impact that these cuts are going to have on families that need this assistance most.
So you believe that's the reason why this survey was cut, is that correct?
I think that's definitely has to be a driving factor. Yes. They can't point to the cost of the survey or doing it in a more efficient manner. There isn't more data. They didn't point to any data sources, any research that they do in any other capacity that provides better or more accurate or more relevant data to track hunger. And personally, what I'm most worried about is how this will particularly impact rural communities. Rural communities are often hit most hard by cuts like this, and we see families in rural areas. I believe it's about 84% of children who are facing hunger insecurity live in rural areas in America, and that means they most often have longer drives to access grocery stores or food banks. And so if we're not tracking that data, we don't know where food banks and food pantries across the country in these states and counties need to target their efforts. We're missing key populations, and so we're missing key data points, and there isn't a better way to gather this data right now that's being replaced by the USDA. So I definitely think that the timing here was very suspect.
So the other side of the argument is making the claim that the Census Bureau's household pulse survey was one way some of this data can be realized. Opponents say this isn't as thorough, some of the arguments you were laying out. What do you believe, and you touched on some of these, are the implications of any data gaps here? Also, what do you make of the pushback from the other side, relying on some of the data coming from these other sources to fill in these gaps?
Yep. So as far as I understand it, the Pulse survey that has been referenced asks one, maybe two questions about hunger. That is not a comprehensive picture of hunger that our families are facing. The CPS data that we're looking at right now that is being cut or that is being stopped is an 18-point module that is looking at a comprehensive picture of hunger in families, in households across the country. Comparing one data point to 18 data points that paints that full picture is it's not comparable. We're not replacing the data with anything meaningful at this time. And so it's really important that congressional leaders, those who have a chance to speak up for this information, do so now. We have, again, 30 years of research showing that this is a really important and really valuable and accurate tool to measure hunger in our communities and in our households. And so to take it away now without any meaningful replacement is reckless and dangerous to how we're looking at the impact of cuts, not just these recent cuts, but funding across the board.
And critics like yourself of this move also say that, even if some of these questions were politicized, they were the same over 30 years. So you had some comparable data here. Details really important on this one. Kylie Oversen, thank you for the breakdown.
Thank you for watching. Subscribe below and download our NewsNation app right now on your phone, and you will get fact-based, unbiased news for all Americans.